But as you're talking, it brings me back to an interesting point about attracting people into the industry. Today, what are we doing to attract students, young students graduating high school, looking to go to university, or maybe not even go to university, just to enter a profession? Are we doing anything? Have you seen anything to attract young people other than, TikTok adverts and universities saying, come join us, we're great?
I think, so I have, and I'll give some really good examples, but I think just because you mentioned TikTok there, and someone was asking me the other day, like, oh, who's the influencer in construction? This social, and I was like, I don't think we have one.
Yeah.
Like, and again, the industry is so huge, so broad, so diverse, and so split.
And so fragmented, yeah.
So fragmented. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
How do you just reach people?
Yeah.
The UN estimates that there's around 275 million people right now working construction.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people. It's 8% of total global workforce.
Yeah.
Right. So that's your first challenge. The second one is that I think that the education coming out of universities, even if they get to universities, the education is not up to scratch, which is what is happening. I mean, I'm very fortunate enough to guest lecture at a number of universities.
Yeah.
And I just say how it is. Like, this is how the industry is. This is what's going to happen. And this is the tech you're going to have to use. If you don't know these things, you can kiss that career goodbye. Like, these are the things you need to know. And these are things that are not being taught.
Yeah. So in relation to education and being looking very closely at our specialization as cost manager quantity surveyors, we've been having these conversations with universities. When you look at their curriculum, some of the universities are teaching the same curriculum to quantity surveyors coming out of university today as I was taught 20-something years ago. That can't be right. There's something fundamentally wrong with that. If we're teaching in the same way 20 years ago, the same information.
Yeah, that's just... I mean, the RIBA, the Royal Institute of British Architects, for the first time updated the official education guidance, I think 2 or 3 years ago, and that was the first time in 20 years. But on a positive note, because there are some positive stories.
Yeah.
So at Zero Construct, we work with an organization, another not-for-profit called Class of Your Own. It's run by a lady called Alison Watson out of the UK. And she works across the UK, across the Middle East, and a few other countries. And she runs this thing called DEC, so Design, Engineer, and Construct. And what she's done with help of funding and kind of investments is create a course, a teachable course for 16 to 18-year-olds to get them interested in construction. And it's all construction. It's just making them understand about construction. So they have like 120 schools on this curriculum. And we've partnered with them, and we kind of help teach the teachers about the sustainability part. So she's gone, can you run lectures to teach the teachers to teach your students about sustainability? Because at 16, the reports back from the teachers on the ground and from Alison's group is that the kids want to know about sustainability. They want to know about decarbonization in an industry they don't really know much about. So we at Zero Construct, we made a top trumps card game around decarbonization, which was, we designed it for boardrooms. So the design was give this to your design team or construction team, turn your phones off, play around, and learn a little bit about how to decarbonize construction. But we've got some funding to send around 400 decks out to students, and some of them have AR and stuff. It's just a more fun way to learn something extremely important. So I think that's a really good example of things that are being done. I wish that organizations like governments or European governments, even at UN level, just go, here's 10 million euros, go, let's spread this out.
Even the RICS, the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors, from a QS perspective, they talk about innovation and so on, and they're directly linked to the curriculum that is educated within universities in the UK, for example, and they need to be leading the way. And when we talk to organizations like that, they're saying, we teach BIM. Say, but how are you teaching it? Let's have a look. We have a BIM module. So it's not a module. It's
life.
It's transitions across everything you're teaching. from a QS, again, bias perspective here, across your contracts, procurement, everything, it should be not a module, but ingrained in what you're teaching under your traditional.
It's because people still see it as a technology, and it's not. It's not. Yeah. It's a process and workflow, and that's because we shouldn't have called it modeling.
No,
we should have called it management.
Yeah,
building information management,
exactly,
as a process. Yeah. Like as soon as modeling came into it, people were like, oh, okay, so you use software. It's like, oh, yes, but no.
Yeah, and the first component of BIM was the 3D model, and so I was marketed slightly wrong, and it's now confused everybody and everything, you know.
But it was the fancy term of the time, right? And you can't blame really tech companies for jumping on it. No. Same as digital twins, smart cities, AI. Everything's AI now.
Yeah.
Like you know, of course, marketing departments of tech companies are going to jump on it to sell their stuff. Of course they are.
No, well, that's just the hot topic at the moment, I guess.